Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai. I want to give a double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. This is Makazar from Return Out of Camp. Just here to do a little edification, for the sake of the hopefully elect. Alright. The inspiration to do this video, more or less, basically, watching the videos that the apostles do, and they might pass out certain orders. Alright, and men might have a problem with it. Alright, they might have a problem with it. Like when the apostles say not to put certain styles in their hair, like like the mohawk, or wherever the case is, like them high top cuts, or to wear certain clothes, like them jeans with the foot cut up. Alright, I mean, it had no scriptures saying that thou shalt not wear a jeans with the foot cut up, but guess what? What righteousness it have in it? Alright, now going back into the wilderness, when the Lord gave us the laws back in the wilderness, basically the Lord gave us the laws based off of the things that we was doing back in Egypt. Alright, and concerning things that he himself desire, like keeping the Sabbath, sacrifice and whatnot. But a couple of the laws was to refrain us or to keep us from doing the things that we once did back in Egypt. Alright? And basically that's what the apostles doing, trying to take us out from that lifestyle, because we back in Egypt once again, so the apostles trying to take us out of that lifestyle. Alright, to be Israelites and not to be heathens. So it's not really to get upset when the apostles say, stop. Basically, stop trying to be too into the word. The scriptures say use the word, but don't abuse it. Alright, so just want to bring out a few scriptures, just to back up my point. There's Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3. It says, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, ye shall not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, ye shall not do. Neither walk ye in their ordinances. Ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am Yahweh, your God. So the Lord basically telling you the things that he was doing back in Egypt, don't do those things. And he gave a list. Alright, he gave a list of the things that he was doing back in Egypt that he don't like. So don't do those things. And the things that when you go in Canaan, that these nations doing, don't do. Now he already know the Canaanites was doing. So he told them. And he said, hey, these things, don't do it. Alright? So that's going to give you a little point. Like, when you jump into verse 7, it says, the nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Now he's showing it have videos, I think was two Ephraimites, a mother and a son, and they in love with each other. Alright? And they don't find nothing wrong with that. Alright? But I guess what that was going on way back in Egypt, because if you do research into, I think it's King Tut, it says that his mother and his father were brothers and sisters. So these customs were going on since back in Egypt. So the Lord saying them things what he was doing back in Egypt and among the Egyptians, don't do it no more. Alright? Keep my ordinances. I jump on to verse 9. It says, the nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, neither even their nakedness thou shalt uncover. So even your sisters, brothers and sisters, that are against the law. And the Lord didn't just make these laws up. The Lord giving you these laws based off what he was doing back in Egypt. Alright? So it's the same thing with the Lord going to do now. It have things that we're doing now, not written in the law. But hey, the apostles don't condone it. So what you think the Lord going to do? The Lord going to come and give us more laws again. The Lord ain't going to do that. Alright? The apostles, the scriptures say wherever you bind in earth, it will be bound in heaven. Alright? So these things we're doing, the scripture says, learn not the ways of the heathen. These things that you're doing among the nations here in captivity. The scripture says, let all things be done unto edifying. It says, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. And all things edify not. It says, let all things be done unto edification. And what edifying about wearing a pants with the jeans all cut up? or putting in a mohawk. Now guess what? Back in slavery, the slave masters used to give you them, them jeans with the legs cut up. Like you throw the jeans in a blender. All them cuts in it. The slave masters used to give it up for free. Now they're charging your fate. You gotta pay them fate. So you people just bugging out. You just want to be a part of the world. Alright? And the apostles trying to get us out of that mentality. So it's not to get offended when the apostles refrain us from doing certain things that, going on around us. It's basically not to be tainted. The scripture said to be unspotted from the world. Alright? I read Leviticus 18:22. It says, "Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination." They used to do that back in Egypt. Back in Egypt, they used to have sex with crocodiles. And the scripture says here, when they're going to jump down to the next verse 23, it says not to lie with animals. The Lord didn't just give you these laws just so. It's way I was doing, the Lord gave you laws to say, see that way I was doing? I don't want that. So cut that out. There's a law. Alright? And he also put laws, as I said, the Sabbath, the feast days, the sacrifices, whatnot. Things that he wanted you to do. But things that he didn't want you to, things that he didn't want you to do. The majority of them is where he was doing among the nations. And the land where you're going in, where the nations was doing. So he say, don't keep them customs. Alright? And the Lord ain't going to come and just give we, he already gave us 613 laws. He's going to give us our next 613 laws. That is not where he's going to do this wrongs. Alright? This is Acts 8. Acts 7 verse 39. It says, "To whom our fathers would not obey, but trust him out from them, and in their hearts turn back again into Egypt." Alright? So even in the wilderness, the people turned back to Egypt. So that is proven that back in Egypt, not all Israel was worshipping the Most High. Because when you read Exodus chapter 1, it talks about the Hebrew woman, that they feared the Most High, that they didn't want to kill the Hebrew children. Alright, so not all Israel was living according to was fearing the Most High, I should say. Alright? The majority of them was going off worshipping other gods. Alright? Basically, Israel were Gentiles back in Egypt. Alright? They were keeping the customs of the Egyptians. So they were living as Gentiles. Alright? So that has proven that they was keeping the manner of the people among them. And the Lord said, those customs, don't keep it. But now, what the Lord going to do? The Lord actually going to change this flesh, take us out of this wicked flesh, and give us a new heart, where he wouldn't have to come and give us 613 laws again. We would just know what things are holy and what things, are profane. So we just wouldn't do it. Alright? This is Jeremiah chapter 24 verse 7. It says, "And I will give them an heart to know me." So the Lord going to give you a heart to know him. Alright? So when they say to know the Lord, you know Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but you're going to know the things that pleasing and displeasing to the Lord. So you just automatically do right. It says that I am Yahweh, right? And they shall be my people, and I will be their God, for they shall return unto me with their whole heart. So you ain't going to be half-stepping. You ain't going to just come out of Egypt and then, worshiping other gods. So what the Lord doing right now is preparing us for the kingdom. And this time we ain't going to go off. We ain't going to defile the land no more. So the Lord going to put them laws in the inward part. Alright? So all the things that we seeing right now going on around us, the Lord wouldn't have to come and say, don't do these things. We will automatically know not to do it. Alright? And that is what the apostles implementing from all now. What edifying about, just living like these niggas? What edifying about having your pants all the way down to your knee? What edifying about that? Nothing edifying about that. Alright? It's not any law to say don't wear your pants below your knee. But guess what? It's not edifying. Everybody the majority of the masses have a problem with somebody wearing their pants below their ass. Alright? But then some nigga might say, well, it's not in the law, so then I could do it. But guess what? That is the reason police always targeting men like that. Alright? You stereotyping yourself. And really it's not edifying, it's not holy. Alright? It's a disgusting habit. So the Lord trying to take us from that life. That is why the apostles, passing these orders. Alright? And when the apostles passed that order that the new brothers not to keep the Passover this year, I totally supported that. Because new brothers coming in, they don't really understand fully what they're into. Alright? And as the scripture says, who that eateth to himself, more or less like you're unworthily eating to yourself damnation. So more or less understand what you're into. Some brothers might have a problem with that order the apostle Paul. Why the young brothers can't keep the Passover? But guess what? That was for their own sake. Alright? This is the last scripture here. There is Hebrews chapter 8 verse 10. It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind, and I will write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So the Lord said that He's gonna write the laws in the inward parts. So therefore, you ain't gonna go off no more. You ain't gonna have to wonder if this is sin, or you wonder if the Lord have a problem with that. You would automatically know. Alright? Verse 11, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So the Lord said all gonna know him. So you're gonna have 2 tablets of stone, and then every Sabbath day, the priests or the prophets had to go out and teach people the law. Alright? To remind them, hey, this way you're doing it wrong. That way you're doing it. It wouldn't have, to keep doing that sin offering, praying for sins. It wouldn't have that anymore, because we're going to automatically do right. Alright? We're going to have a heart where we know the Lord. So the Lord ain't going to write another additional law for us to keep in the kingdom. Alright? He just going to give us a mind where we would automatically know right from wrong, holy from profane. And that is what the Lord was trying to teach us from since back in Egypt. Alright? That is why the majority of the laws He gave us was based off of what we was doing in Egypt and what the nations was doing in Canaan that He didn't want us to do. Alright? And right now we're in Egypt again. And as I said, like the haircuts, the type of clothes. Alright? Like men wearing a t-shirt with flowers all over it, like the gay. And wearing a pink pants. And trying to act all macho. What convenient, what expedient about that? What godly about that? Wearing a pink pants. From since we growing up, we know pink is for girls. When you look in the Oxford Dictionary, the third definition for the word pink is associated with homosexuals. Alright? So all these things, the scripture never said don't wear pink. Alright? But we know that, hey, that not a man not supposed to wear pink. Alright? Pants below your ass, stuff like that. So the Lord, when the apostles, say don't do things like these, guess what? Basically what they're doing, they're just fulfilling scriptures. When the scripture says He'll give your heart to know me. And that beginning now, because we ain't gonna go in the kingdom defiled, we're gonna go in the kingdom clean. The scriptures say let me just read it real quick. This is Philippians chapter 1 verse 10, that ye may approve things that are excellent. Alright, so the things that are excellent, wearing your pants below your ass, not excellent. Wearing pink, clothes with flowers all over it, not excellent. Having mohawks in your head, not excellent. Them high tops, they're not excellent. Alright, putting in them platinum grills or whatever the case is in your teeth, they're not excellent. Alright, it says that ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense till the day of Mashiach. So the Lord preparing us right now to go into the kingdom clean. We're gonna go in the kingdom and then clean ourselves. Because what? Israel didn't do that back in the wilderness. That is why they was in the wilderness 40 years. That is why it's lucky about that. That is why they was in the wilderness 40 years, preparing themselves for the kingdom, for the land. And that is the same thing we're doing here right now. Preparing ourselves for the land. So brothers had itself in that spiritual mind. Alright? Trying to approve the things that are excellent. Alright? So basically that is all I wanted to say. Alright, so with that, I want to give our praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful elect. Shalom.